Hi, everyone. I'm Steve here again with Raelena Valenzuela. And
Hello.
as you know, if you've been watching, she is the assistant fitness director at our South Reno Parkway Athletic Club. And of course, also a personal trainer certified. So, how you doing?
Doing well. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. We made it over that hump, didn't we?
Yeah, now you might not be watching this on Thursday, but to Raelena and to me, it's Thursday right now.
Fair, fair.
So, I'm fascinated by watching people get trained by our
Mhm.
trainers in all of our clubs who are beginners, especially if they're over 50, 60, 70. Some of them are over 80. So tell your grandmother, tell your grandpa about this, have them watch this.
Send it to them.
Because we're going to give you some. Can you text your grandpa that's 80?
I'm sure he can click on it and then look at it and then go, I don't know what this is about. But, if you do, just click on that link, press play. We've got some good things for you.
That's what my dad does. I know he's getting them, but he doesn't know what to do with it. So
Yeah, I spend time with some people first time, and I'm like, let's set appointments. Can you go get your calendar? And they're like, I don't know how to do this. And so I love when it's a couple of extra clicks and they're like, wow, that made things so easy. And so I hope that they take that and they remember how to do it for the future.
yeah, because nobody wants to become one of those commercials, where they say, we can't keep you from becoming your parents, but
Those are my
we
favorite.
can save you money on your insurance. Okay, so anyway, we're going to talk about how to exercise, how to keep your balance. And you know what? Even younger people can have a hard time with some of these simple exercises that we're talking about that help keep your coordination and help keep your flexibility and keep you from falling. And,
Mhm.
we talked about it before we turned this on. Some people laugh. Oh, that's so simple. And then when you show them how to do it, and then they try to do it and they go, wait a minute, and they fall over.
And then they're like, wait,
I'm
no, no, no.
sitting, yeah, I watch sometimes in our functional areas, and it's
Hmm.
hilarious because then you see people get frustrated,
Yep.
kind of pissed because they can't do it and it looks so simple.
And kind of looking around like, did anybody see me?
Exactly, exactly. But then they catch on, and then you
Yeah.
can say, "Oh, I can do it," and then you almost see this glow about them because they're doing
Just
it,
like
and
a light bulb.
they improved on something, and now you know their functional aging is going to improve. So we're going to talk about some functional exercises, what it is, and it's all the rage right now. Even with younger people in their teens, they're doing functional exercise because it relates to your daily activity of all ages. So why don't you start with defining it? Just define it for our audience.
Yeah. Yeah. So the functional aging, I mean, we're all going to age regardless. And whether or not our bodies keep up with our mind, that's two different things. So, functional age training in general, what we've been speaking on the last couple of weeks, is really to keep your coordination, your balance, your independence at the end of the day. After age 35, things start to slow down drastically, anywhere between 3 and 5% where you're losing muscle per year if you're not training for that intentionally. And so keeping independence, I know for myself, I can probably speak for most of my clients on my roster and most people that I see, they want to keep that independence. They want to keep making sure that they can continue to do the things that they've always done. And so training for that specifically keeps you independent, keeps you mobile, keeps your strength up and balance so you can live on your own terms.
I had a person make a comment on one of my short videos on one of my other social media platforms, and he was so proud. He said, I'm 55. He was responding to, I was talking about muscle, and because muscle is your retirement plan
Yes, it
as you're
is.
older. We talked about that. So he responded to a short video that I talked about that. He was so proud of himself. He's 55 years old. He's been working out for 6 months, and he was blown away at the results, but he never exercised. He never lifted weights before. Started at 55, 6 months. He was blown away. He said, my body's rock hard,
Yeah.
and if you've never done it before, it's easier.
Yeah.
But you want to continue to do this functional exercise and functional activity so that it doesn't affect carrying your groceries,
Playing with your
carrying your,
grandkids.
yeah, or your child or whatever. So, how do people begin? How do they start?
Well, making that decision and doing it. That's how you start. That's how anything works. But a couple of things you can do right now as you're watching these videos, right after you're done watching them. Why don't you sit to stand 10 times? Don't hold on to anything. Don't press on anything. Use that leg strength 10 times. You can work on that balance by standing on one leg 30 seconds. Go longer if you can. If you can't go 30 seconds, start where you can. Really focus on what's needed. And then, last but not least, another simple thing that you can do that will help promote not only your cognitive health, but cardiovascular system is walk 10 minutes after each meal. That's something you can do right. Well, maybe not right now, but immediately. That's something where you can start. Visit your neighborhood gym. Find a park that has a loop where you know the distance. That could be another fantastic place to start. A lot of parks also have some equipment where you can work them out. I know when I was younger, they used to be like monkey bars and pull ups, things that are going to move your body and train your body for your daily activities, lifting groceries, reaching above you to grab that cup at the top shelf, your favorite cup. Why did you put it there? Things like that.
Yeah, it just takes a little bit of discipline. With a little bit of discipline, but it's easy to say, you know what, I'm going to skip. Look, wherever you are after you eat, almost everyone has 10 minutes, especially
Mhm.
if you're older and you're retired. You can't say, oh, I don't have 10 minutes after I eat just to get outside and walk down the road. And it makes a big difference. And the one thing that I would add to what you said is do things that you haven't done that you could do when you were 20. What could you do when you were 20? You could jump, right?
Yeah.
Now, someone comes in for the first time into the gym and they're 75, you might really you need to be careful jumping. I mean, you jump, something might fall off, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's
So
fair.
you got to be careful, but just jump a little bit to where your toes are still on the ground. Jump so that just your heels come up. And then pretty soon you'll be jumping with a vertical leap of 1 inch, and because start doing things that you used to be able to do or things that you could do when you were 18.
Mhm.
And that's one of them, standing on it out, get up and down. A lot of people can't do that.
Now without pushing on the back of a chair or leaning on of a table. Yeah.
And the reason we're saying this is because we don't want you to lose your independence. If you're in a wheelchair, you've lost your independence.
Yep.
If you even are on a walker or you can't get out of a
A
chair,
cane.
you can't do these things, you are not independent. And that's not fun because now not only you're not independent, you're dependent on somebody, maybe a family member. And that can't be a good feeling.
Yeah. Other things you can do to help with that, minus the couple of tips that we did, is obviously prioritizing strength, focusing a little bit more on the lower body, because that's where a lot of that power and balance will come from, along with that core. Train balance daily, every single day. Prioritize that. Make it something that, if it's fun, awesome. If it's not, still make it a priority. I promise you, 6 months from now, just like you said, that 55-year-old, huge difference, huge difference. Core and stability work. Focus on power. How much power are you outputting?
But give
Walking
us an
often
example. Give us an example of something that has to do with power.
with power.
Well, like
I like,
jumping. Jumping's
yeah,
one, but
jumping.
give us some examples.
Okay, so let's say another thing for power. Let's say like a slam. We have things here at our gym, specifically here. I'm gonna only use Parkway as an example. We have these medicine balls, and typically you can put it in front of you, drop it. Gravity does a lot of the work. Now, implementing power is with intention. You're going to lift up, so you're using your strength, and then you are implementing a fast, quick motion, and it doesn't always have to start off that way. It just starts off a little bit with some intensity. So, a slam, for example, a medicine ball slam, that is going to work on moving with intention. So you're getting some anterior work, some front, and then you're using some core. So you're not only building strength, but you're building movement with it. with some extra gusto with it. That's the best way that I can explain it.
Yeah, and you can also take that medicine ball, and I've seen some of our trainers working with older people throw it back behind
Behind them
you. So you're throwing it over your head. You just wanna make sure you don't hit yourself in the face, right?
or behind someone behind you.
Yeah, yeah. Make sure there's space. Usually the trainer is gonna help you. And you don't need a trainer to do this, but now you're throwing that thing up over your head as far as you can. That's explosive. So
Yeah.
it's amazing how that is gonna help you in your everyday life. So, what else you got there in your notes?
I've got some functional drills. So, coming up with a set of drills that are going to mimic a lot of what you do. Like, let's say, for example, little side shuffles. Now, are you walking side shuffling? Probably not. But say you are losing balance and you're teetering over and you're trying to catch that balance and you kind of take quick side steps. Creating these drills in a safe environment allows you to have that type of receptibility when you're out in real life mimicking those. Last but not least, social engagement. Group classes are really good for having those like obstacles, people, whatever's around you, and being able to overcome and adapt with those types of things. Like, let's say, a busy grocery store, going shopping for Black Friday that's coming up, things like that, that you may not have been confident in going by yourself prior because of limitations, balance, coordination, whatever. But then you're able to be a lot more independent in being on your day to day life if you're able to feel strong and confident within your body.
Yeah, and you can do farmer's carries, right? Push a
Mhm.
sled, all that stuff. I always make sure people kind of laugh at me for this, but I'll go get a 2 pound weight, 2.5 pound weight, and carry it across the gym. What are you doing? Why do you get? I'm doing a farmer's carry.
Yeah.
You just got to do a
Okay.
lot of reps. Two and a half
I
pounds.
gotta do a lot of rounds. Exactly.
Yeah. What do you do? I'll walk around with a 2.5 pound weight just to make my point. But you got to do a lot of reps. But
Yeah.
and
But
anyway, those are some things that you can do. There's a lot of exercises. And the main thing that we want to emphasize here is that when you do these simple things, it helps to do them with a trainer, but you don't have to, right? Maybe you have some tips for people who just want to start this stuff at home. How would they do that?
well,
What
there's a
can they
couple
do
of
at
tips.
home? Body squats?
Yes. So think of like your compound lifts. If you don't know what those are, I highly encourage you to learn what those are. If you're doing this at home, you're going to have to rely a lot on how your body is feeling. And so, major things like push up position. Does that mean like, can you go all the way down, go all the way up? No, drop to your knees, progress into that. Squats are a huge thing. We all have doors. Reach above and hang. If you don't have something like that, let's find something right in the middle. Maybe some stairs. Maybe we could figure something out for things at home. Always picking up a set of resistance bands. You can start working on smaller things with that to increase some resistance with the movements that you're doing. For example, putting a band over the knees, above the knees, I apologize, above the knees as you're going into these body weight squats, creating much more tension onto your side hips, but you're still using just your body weight and you're still at home.
Yeah, you can
Those
do walking lunges,
mhm. You could do
wall
jumping
push-ups.
jacks.
Yep.
There's
Jumping
that
jacks.
low
There's your
impact.
there's your jumping, and just
Yep.
do small ones. You can do wall
Step ups.
push-ups.
Yep.
You can
You
move
gotta
your
low
hands in close, and that's gonna work the triceps more.
yeah.
So those are
There's
a lot of
there's a
things
lot to do.
that people can do if they don't have a trainer, they just start at home. Let me ask you, do you have any last thoughts on this? Any last tips?
Any last tips? Drink lots of water. Always hydration is key. Move your body every single day. I can say this to every single day for the rest of my life, and I'm sure nobody's really gonna listen. I hope they do, but I can't assume. No, I don't. I feel like we cover a lot of things. There's not any last tips that are jumping out onto me. Balance is huge. Stand on that one leg. Challenge yourself. Have a friend. Maybe you guys are holding hands and you kind of make it fun. No, not really. Come to any gym, get a free evaluation. Almost every commercial gym probably offers something like that.
Yeah.
Don't want to sign up? Take advantage of the free trials. Take advantage of any resources that you possibly can find and do what's best for you. Those are my last
You
tips.
mentioned the stand on one leg. We probably got a few 18-year-olds out there laughing if any 18-year-olds are watching this. You think that's so funny? You try it.
Yeah.
Put it up, put your leg out, and an 18-year-old will fall over. They've got
Yeah.
to get their balance. But
Yeah.
as an older adult, if you do something like that, it's amazing what it does for your balance. That was a good one that you brought up.
Yeah.
So,
And if, I mean, even going even further, if you can't take that one foot completely off the ground, do what we call a kickstand, where you have one foot firmly planted, and that's your working leg, and your other leg, you're lifting your heel off, and you're not putting as much weight on those toes as you're focusing on one leg. So that is a way to start in the most regressed state here, and then progressing up into having that foot all the way off the ground. And again, use something to help balance you: wall, pull, friend, dog, something that's going to be stable enough to keep your balance.
yeah, just start, don't be embarrassed. Yeah, you're the kickstand one you're talking about, just you're balancing yourself with your other leg. So, Raylena, if people want to find you on social media, if they want to come down and say hi, you're at Parkway Athletic Club in South Reno, they can do that. What if they want to find you on social media and see what you're doing?
You can find me on Instagram and Facebook. Instagram's more active. So, Trainer Raelena, Trainer, Raelena. And then Raelena Valenzuela on Facebook. I'm also on the Parkway Reno page. So, PKWY, apologize, Reno on Instagram. So we do a lot of good stuff there. But if you're ever in South Reno, you're ever near Reno in Nevada, please hit me up. You can always message or call or find Parkway Athletic Club and let them know that you're trying to get a hold of Raelena.
That sounds great, Raylena. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks so much, Steve. Have a good day.